because it's being weird. Not air fryer, the oven. Because the oven, I don't know. I have this glowing thing going on. I'm gonna call my maintenance people tomorrow and have them come look at it. I'm not gonna play around with that because it's not supposed to look like there's a little flickery fire. But I have my air fryer, so what I'm gonna do, rather than boil the potatoes, because that's an option, but honestly, I don't want to mess with the oven because I feel like I took the eggplants out and they look pretty roasty, probably still kind of hot, but they roasted in 425 for a few minutes, and I mean, they're not overly cooked, but they look nice and tender. I think they look really good. I would try one. Yeah, it's good. I like it. But I just didn't like the way the oven was looking. So I'm not going to mess with it tonight. Because when I opened it up, it didn't look right. It looked like there was a fire in it. I'm like, what's going on? And it smelled kind of weird too. I was like, it just didn't smell right. So I have my air fryer. And I'm going to microwave rather than boil the potatoes. This is just what I do. Some people don't. They're like, I hate microwave. But I don't know. I think it's convenient. And I use my air fryer a lot these days, actually. So I'm going to microwave the potatoes. And then after I microwave them, cook them all the way through, I'll put them in the air fryer. Because that's the way I make potatoes. Because I find if you just put them straight in the air fryer, they don't get cooked thoroughly, in my opinion. So I like to do a boiling hack for them. It's not really boiling. It's just like you cook them in the microwave. You cook them through, and then you can put them in the air fryer to get like kind of crispy on the outside. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be my little hack. These are so hard to peel sometimes. Maybe I need to rinse off potato peeler. I have to rinse it off. I want to try another eggplant though. Those are good. Okay, so I'm going to try another piece of eggplant, just cooked eggplant. Okay, this one got really charred, like really quick, because I did put it on the top. That is good. It has like the olive oil in it. It's really good. I just really love vegetables a lot. Because I was thinking, well, I was going to make some sort of baba ganoush thing, but I'm like, do I even, I mean, I still can. But just these plain eggplanties by themselves are good. But I'm also making a potato dish. I want to make like roasted potatoes, but my oven's being weird. Like when I turned it on, it looked like, I don't know, it just didn't look right. So I turned it off. I have a gas oven and I just feel like there's something wrong with it because it almost looked like there was, hi, how are you doing? Like a fire starting down in there. So I don't know. There wasn't smoke, but it just didn't look right. So I'm going to call maintenance and I'm going to make the potatoes in the microwave and then I'm going to put them in the air fryer, which it gives you a similar result. But I'll cook them all the way through in the microwave. Like I would do them in rounds of like 5 minutes. Boop. Get all skin off this potato. I don't like the skin on the potato. Like I know like some people like that, but you really have to clean it very well. I feel like unless you grow your own potatoes. Who makes the pictures? That's my photograph, my art, my art. It's all my art. The clock is just a clock I bought, but all of this art is me. I created it. I make art for my own house. Like I have some trivets behind the oven. The trivets my dad found like at a thrift store. The art is mine. So yeah, I make the art. That's why like I love to paint and draw, and I'm not as like I should do it more often, but yeah. Anyway, I like to get all the potato peelings out of the sink after. And then I'll just rinse off Mr. Potato just to get them nice and clean, because unless you're growing your own potatoes, you don't know like where they're grown and stuff. I'm just like, I have thought about growing my own potatoes, but I live in an apartment complex. That's not realistic. But if you have a backyard, growing your own potatoes might be fun. I'm so glad I don't eat anything like eggs, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people eat eggs, but I'm just like, I don't even know how in this economy people afford to eat eggs. I don't like eggs. I'm plant-based for my own reasons. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm in your fridge. Say your name 3 times and I will disappear from your fridge. Are you a ghost? You like the nerd look? This is just me. Like, if you think it's a nerd, I don't know. This is just how I am. Like, I wear glasses, friends. Oh, thank you. That's cool. I like that. I mean, I didn't quite know what you meant, because some people tell me I look like a nerd. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I never deny it. It was funny though, because there was this one guy. I knew him sort of, like, I didn't really know him, but he told me he liked me because I looked nerdy, and I'm like, oh, thanks. And then a few months later, I was just like, he was acting um kind of silly, because I'm like, obviously you know who I am. And he's like, wait, you look like that lady I used to know. Of course I'm a real one. I'm not one of these people that's fake. Like, that's, if somebody's not responding to comments, then why are they doing lives? Like, I know that's popular these days, but like, I have done lives on and off for years, and if you don't respond to comments, like, why are you doing lives? It's just, to me, that doesn't make any sense, but that's just how I do it. But anyway, oh yeah, this guy, like the nerd story. He's just being silly. He's like, are you the lady I saw like a year ago that I used to talk to? And I'm thinking, dude, you must know I'm the same person. So I just was like, oh, hi. And I kept going. He goes, wait a minute. I don't think you're the same person. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate you, Panda. He's like, I think you're a different person. So I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what to tell you then. If you think I'm a different person, I kind of laughed, because I was like, I look like the same person. I don't, I don't know. Maybe he thought I was a different person, but I had to go somewhere. I didn't have time to stick around and find out why he thought I was a different person. So I just kept on my merry way. But yeah, so yeah, this potato's getting kind of tiffy. Just cut out the bad part. I don't know, waste potato. I'm just gonna cut out the bad part. We don't waste food. This is why when you buy like a thing of potatoes, you kind of have to go through them really quick, I feel like. Just my opinion. Just a second there. Thinking maybe this is not a very, no, this part's not good either. We're gonna cut that part off. We're just gonna help it along. I think we're just gonna cut a lot of it off. This one has some problems. I'll just cut off all the bad parts. See, I'm really good at kind of like sculpting a potato. I can make potato art. I can make Pac-Man potatoes. I'm gonna turn this cutting board afterwards, but you just take, I want a bigger slice. I can rinse them off in a few minutes, but let's make a Pac-Man potato like I did earlier. Look, what's a Pac-Man potato? He's so cute. He's so cute. So I was talking to my friend earlier tonight. We were just talking about fun little scenarios, and just how I love like when I talk to my friend, like we have like these stories, just like these kind of made up stories. They're just so funny. And I just tell her things about my life and she tells me things about her life, and we just try to find like the funny, silly way to look at things. Cause I'm serious about a lot of things in life, but also too, I wanna I just want to be happy. Like I want to have fun. Like I don't want to spend my whole life feeling sad about something. I don't know. Because I just feel like there's enough bad stuff in the world that you kind of just sometimes have to laugh about certain things, in certain scenarios. You just kind of have to laugh sometimes. And I love her. Like we just have these ongoing like pretend stories that we make up. And we just entertain ourselves endlessly. I kind of do that with my sister too, because I don't know. I just have these stories. I live in California, Southern California. This is a nice round, like ovally. Oh, Indiana, interesting. Okay, so my dad grew up in Indiana. I've never been to Indiana, but I have spent a lot of time in the Topeka, Kansas, and Kansas City region because that's where my mom was from, and we went back to visit her family. I've just never been like I really should travel more, but I just don't travel a lot. But my dad, like he tells me stories. Like I remember because we love history and culture. My grandpa, the one I talk about a lot, who was Syrian, born in the US but Syrian, like Syrian ancestry, like he was a high school history teacher. So we would like he loved to talk about history. And my dad told me how like one of his favorite memories was when he took my dad and him and they went to go see the release of the 1962 Mutiny on the Bounty in Chicago. Like, and he grew up in Terre Haute, but I'm sure it's nice. Like I've heard stuff, I just have never been there. So I appreciate people who like where they're from because I just feel like there's a lot of people these days where I don't know, they don't like where they're from and they're always like, oh, this is not good and that's not good. And I'm like, well, like, why don't you just move somewhere else and call it a day? This happens a lot. Like, I like living in California, I do. But there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I hate California because of the taxes and it's so expensive to live here and blah, blah, blah. Even though, like, here in California, people make more salary wise than you do in other states. So, like, the pay rate is higher. You know, and then some other people are like, okay, I'm moving, I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, you do that. And then a lot of them are coming back recently, and I'm like, okay, whatever. A lot of people are moving from other states to California and vice versa. I don't know. I think people just move around. But you know what I had learned a couple years ago when my nephew actually moved to Alabama with his girlfriend. What we were learning is like the South, like that part of the country, the like Alabama, Georgia border in that area. I guess it's like the highest, like the population is growing. That part of the country is growing like exponentially. So I thought that was interesting because I thought it would have been like Texas, New York, California that would be the areas growing population wise. But I guess like that part of the South, like the population in the Atlanta region is growing. But I'll have to look that up. I just read an article about it. I think that's a washcloth. Okay. Let's do some potato slices. I'll slice that one. I'll have to clean that one again later. I kind of gave up on him a minute ago, but I'll get back to it. Don't worry. thank you. I can imagine if you live in Indianapolis, it's pretty late there. So I do appreciate you. And thank you for coming and thank you for dropping by and have a wonderful evening, okay? I really appreciate that. Okay. So, doop, 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 doop. I mean, I try to be kind to everybody. It's just something that I try to do. Like that's my personality. I'm I'm introverted, but I'm nice to everybody, and that's just like what I endeavor to do. Because I just don't understand the point of being mean or inhospitable to people. Like that's just not who I am. Like I'm interested in talking to lots of different people. I'm not a social butterfly per se. Like I'm not like going to parties, but just on one-on-one daily conversation, I appreciate talking to people and listening to them and hearing their story. I have to eat another piece of eggplant. It's so good. Mmm. It's so basic, but just roasting the eggplant with the olive oil and the salt is really, really good. Alrighty. Doop. Doop. Okay. Should make more potato designs. I'm gonna do it with the next potato though, because this one, I think I'm gonna have to put this one. I'm gonna start microwaving them after I slice everything up because it would make too much noise with the phone sitting on top of the microwave. Okay, so I have 3 potatoes left, and this is my system. Like rather than boil them, I do like to microwave them if I'm gonna put them in the air fryer. Because it cooks them all the way through. It's good. My goal is I want to cook them all the way through so when I put them in the air fryer, they just get crispy. Because I tried before to roast potatoes in the air fryer and it just doesn't work. It doesn't cook them through. So you need to boil. Like you can do like if you make fries or like tater tots or something like that, that's going to be different because those are frozen, but they've already been cooked through. You can't just put raw potatoes straight in the air fryer, in my little opinion. Some people do it, but I just don't like. I don't think the texture is super good. And I was gonna do it in the oven. I was real excited to do it in the oven. My oven is just being weird tonight. Because I'm scared. I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to look like that. With like, almost looked like there was a glowing fire in there. I can't stop. No. I think I'm just gonna eat these as is. They're really good. Just basic. I highly recommend. It's just vegetables. They're just little eggplants that I roasted with salt and olive oil. It's so good. It's really good. I don't know, people act like you have to do all these like really inordinate things like really super fancy things with vegetables. But I feel like they're just I'm sorry. I just feel like they're good on their own. I don't think you have to do all these fancy things to them. It's my my little opinion, okay? Oh my gosh, my throat. Okay, that eggplant was really good, but I think I ate a couple pieces of it kind of fast. So it just got stuck in the back of my throat. I was like, but it's really, really good though. It tastes so good. I can't not enjoy it. It's really good tasting. Nice flavor. Highly recommend. Okay, at least I got that potato nice and peeled. So the next step for me is after I peel a potato, I always have to get all the skins out. Because I've done it before where you just peel a whole bunch of them and then you throw them away at the end. And I'm like, no, I don't like it. To clean as I go. So try not to get any scraps into the garbage disposal. Because I know the other day my maintenance person said, oh, it was fine. It just had to be reset. But I personally am just trying to be very careful with that. Like he said it was fine. He said sometimes they just get wear and tear. And unfortunately, I do think I'm gonna have to call him again because the oven doesn't seem right. And I hate doing that. Like I try to take good care of everything because I don't want to be calling maintenance like all the time. Like I want to just take good care of my appliances and things. But yeah, the oven, I don't know what's going on with him. But it's okay. I will call them tomorrow, I think. It doesn't seem quite right. Okay. That washcloth's kind of spent. I just wanted to. Okay, so I'm gonna. I'll do something with another potato because I just feel like it. I don't know. Sometimes it's fun. Let's see. Oh, I broke it. But look, it's a pie chart or a big pan. It's good enough. I'm just gonna start layering them in. I did try this one vegan plant-based version of potatoes au gratin a while back with my mom. Hi, how you doing, Kevin? It's nice to see you. Kevin Simpson from the UK. How you doing? It must be morning there. I'm in California, so it's definitely West Coast. It's a little bit later than what I had anticipated to start making something, but you know, it's fine. I get a lot of like inspiration after 9, I think sometimes. You know. Plus I slept in. I'm gonna regret it in the morning, but I will try to go to bed sooner than I would have if I didn't have to work in the morning, but I slept in this morning till like a little bit later than what I wanted, so yeah. It's all good, I guess. I'm gonna put the bell peppers in. I have to try some bell pepper. I love bell pepper because it's so sweet. It's a very sweet vegetable. It's just sweet. Like some people say bell pepper is spicy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Bell pepper is super sweet. Like, it tastes like, to me, a bell pepper almost tastes like an apple. Like, maybe I just have an interesting palate. But there's nothing spicy about it at all. So even though I'm gonna microwave them, I like to just do them in thin layers. It's my preference. Okay, just 2 more potatoes to go. Getting there. We're getting there. Okay. I'm gonna just shake it, get them out. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. I think this one, I'm just gonna have to cut up part of the bad part. Yeah, sorry. Just, this potato has some problems, so I think I'm just gonna kind of cut those parts away. Scoop all the potatoes, shavings out of the sink. If you do it for every potato veggie that you make, I mean, you could just put a bowl underneath them too, but I personally just take them out, put them in the trash as you go. I don't know, when I used to live at my parents' house, we had a compost pile. If you have a garden, you can compost them. It's great use of vegetable scraps. You can make great soil for them. Even if, like, you don't garden, like, I think having a compost pile would just be cool, because it's just like a natural way to recycle, and it's not as complicated. Like, people are like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, but it's really not as complicated as you think to do a compost pile. Like, I used to love, like, I felt like I got to be, like, I've never done a video on this, but I know how to take good care of a compost pile just from when I was a kid, because I did it all my life. Like, I had a technique that I thought was better. Like, I looked down upon people that just didn't make lots of little trips to the compost pile and didn't turn it over continuously, because I know that I used to help my mom's compost pile when I was younger and like lived at home, because I would continuously, anytime there were kitchen scraps, I didn't want them in the kitchen at all. They needed to immediately go to the compost pile, and then you would like turn it over, like to take the old stuff, dig it in, and like just continuously rotate it. Yeah, I took really good, and you could incorporate leaves with it. And so even if you don't garden and you live like in a more rural place where you have a yard and stuff, compost piles are great because it's a way to recycle your scraps. Because when they go into like a landfill, kind of make methane gas, and they're just not. It's not like the way that produce rots in the trash isn't quite as effective, but composting is very effective, and it enriches the soil. It's a really cool way to like give back to the earth. And yeah, so if you have like the land to do it, composting is like, it's so therapeutic too, because you could just take a shovel. And I was really good at that. I was also good at chopping firewood. I was good at both those things really, but I haven't done those things in years because I live in like a suburban city now. But when I was a kid, like up until, I don't know, my early 20s, like I lived at home until I was 17, and then I moved away for college, and then I came back for a couple years in my early 20s, and I was pretty good like at chopping firewood, doing composting, like, yeah, because my parents are into gardening and all that, so I was good at those things. I haven't done them in a long time, but yeah, I think I could get back into it if I did, but I just like, I live more of a city life now. It's funny because when I was younger, I used to think that having a picnic in the park was funny. I used to be like, why don't you go to the mountains to have a picnic? And now I spend a lot of time in the park just because I've become like a city girl. Even though I grew up in the mountains, and this channel is called California Mountain Art and Life, because I still, even though I'd been living in different cities off and on by the time I started this YouTube channel, I think I was closer to the time that I had lived in the mountains. So like my connection to the San Bernardino Mountains was much greater at that time. And I still do have a connection to it to some degree, but I'm not as used to it. Like for instance, when you live 5,300 feet above sea level, like you have a different, like you're like just you adjust to altitude differently. So when you would go down the mountain, you would experience like this sensation. Like for me, it wasn't too bad, but like for my sisters, it was, because you'd be going from like 5,200 feet in elevation down to like 1,300. It's like a 4,000 foot drop as you drive down the mountain, and you would feel this immense pressure in your ears. And it wasn't too bad for me. And for a while, when I was going up and down the mountain a lot, it was like nothing. Like I would barely notice it. But my sisters, like they used to have, like one of my sisters had horrible headaches and earaches from it, like just going up and down the mountain a lot. And like now it's weird because like going down into the valley used to give me, like I would get this horrible poppy like pressure sensation, and now it's like the other way as you go up. Like for me, it's like it changed, it went the other way. So I don't know, it just changes. Like, and I'm not talking about crestline level, I'm talking about like midway, like Lake Arrowhead, like it's higher elevation. Like I don't know, because it wasn't quite as much when I went up to my sister's house, but all the way up to Lake Arrowhead, you could feel it. You could feel it. But yeah, I still have a connection to the mountains. I'm not a mountain girl anymore. I'm a city woman. I mean, I like the mountains, don't get me wrong. I remember these things I always did. I just don't go up there as much anymore. That's all. But I have a lot of earlier videos when I used to spend time in the mountains and like filming nature and things like that. So yeah. Still should get off this. Slippery. It's a slippery potato. Nice little rinse. It's rinsed. Some more potato shavings. I do like to use like washable washcloths for like when I clean the house. They're just better. I gave a whole bunch of them to my sister recently who doesn't live with me anymore, and I think I need to buy more just because I like to keep it up. Like I like to keep up my collection of washcloths that I use for cleaning the house, just so I have enough to like wipe down surfaces. Like, I don't just use 3. I need a lot of them to clean, because they get saturated pretty fast, in my opinion. I know some people, they use the same cloth over and over again, but I'm like, how do you get stuff clean? So I don't use paper towels because those are thrown away. But if you're going to use washcloths, you need to use enough to be effective, in my viewpoint. And I can't help it, but I have to try some more eggplant. This is super good. Like, just baked eggplant with like salt and olive oil. Mm-hmm. It's really good. I highly recommend it. It's so good. And then there's salt that got all over the bottom, so I like to take a piece and kind of rub it in some of the olive oil that's on the pan. It was really good. It's so good. I'm very much a vegetable girly, though, as you can see. I love my vegetables. I love to eat vegetables. They're yummy. Well, you know what? It's more satisfying than eating like potato chips, like making roasted potatoes and eggplant. It's much more satisfying than like potato chips, in my opinion. Like, they can be crispy and warm, and it's just better. Pull up my sleeves. I don't know how my sleeves can wear. Hey. So, I am going to start the process of microwaving my potatoes. And maybe I'll come back later when I put them in the air fryer. You know, I might. But, you know, at least I have my potatoes that I can microwave and air fry. Thanks for watching, guys.